Joseph, welcome to County. First of all, how does it feel to be here?
Exciting. I'm glad to finally be here at County and just looking forward to it. It's going to be a new environment, probably moving up to Manchester from London. Quite similar, but it'll be a new environment and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Football moves on quickly. It was only a couple of weeks ago you were celebrating winning League Two with Doncaster Rovers. How has this all come about for you?
So I initially heard interest back in the January transfer window, but not much could happen back then because my focus was on winning the league, which I did. And now it was all about just getting over the line and and just moving on to getting this done and not waiting around. Coming back from an injury myself, so it's all about getting myself integrated into the new club here at County and just move on.
As we touched on there, great season for you with Rovers promotion under Grant McCann. It can't have been an easy decision to leave, but did it feel like the right time for a fresh challenge?
It wasn't easy at all because I'd been at Doncaster Rovers for 4 years and it was a club that kind of gave me the opportunity to step into the EFL. So it was far from an easy decision, that's all. But I did feel as though it was coming to a moment in time where I wanted a fresh challenge and just to experience something else, be in a different environment, see how that is, and just kind of adjust, shall I say, to a new beginning, the next chapter in my career and just see where things go and where that takes me.
Having made that decision to leave, presumably you wouldn't have been short of offers in the summer. So what was it that attracted you to County?
Just the ambition of the club, the ambition of the club, the direction the club's looking to go in, the direction the club has been going in. In fact, from the outside looking in, you can see what the club's been able to do from promotion from the National League into League Two, into League One, and just missing out on the playoff final, and it's exciting, very, very exciting. I think that's probably the biggest thing that drew me in, the ambition of the club, and I'm very ambitious myself. I'm very driven, so coming to an environment where they also have that ambition to push on and get to higher levels and push up the pyramid, it kind of felt as though it was a right fit and a good fit for me, if I'm being honest.
You're a League Two title winner this year. The year before, of course, it was County's turn to win the trophy. You came up against us twice that season. What were your impressions of Dave Challoner's side from back then?
Very high energy, very high energy, very relentless, very forward thinking, love to attack, tough teams to play against for sure. And it was nice. It kind of gave me an insight into how the manager here and the gaffer here works and his things to kind of look ahead to and kind of now begin to familiarize myself with the new system that I'm going to come into.
Just want to talk a little bit more about you and your career. So you joined Arsenal, I think, at 13, went on to captain their under 18s. What was that like as a young player? What was that education like for you?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I think it was probably the best place I could have been as a 13-year-old, as a young boy coming through in football. It was my first experience of being in a academy setup, and you're going into one of the best academies and one of the best clubs in the world. And initially it was a bit of an adjustment. It was quite tough. I'm coming from Sunday League football and hadn't seen mannequins before, if I'm being honest. And you're being taught different things that you didn't really hear about coming from Sunday League football, and it was just enjoyable. I took it all in my stride. Wanted to make the most of it. Didn't think I was going to get signed there. Initially when I went in as a trialist, but just once I did, I just said, you know what, it's just time for me to put my head down and make the most of it and just see where it takes me. And I must say the 8 years I spent at Arsenal were unbelievable for me.
You then had your first taste of men's football with Cork and then with Wealdstone in the National League. I think you played against County whilst at Wealdstone as well. How important were those experiences for you?
Massive, massive, especially going out to Cork in Ireland. It kind of, you got to experience the reality of football. I was playing with boys there that they would have to go to work, do a night shift, and they're having to come to training the next morning, get a bit of sleep in between the day, and then go again. And for me, it kind of just helped me appreciate the position I was in because I was a player at Arsenal in the academy coming through, and thankfully, I didn't have to go through that, but it kind of it grounded me. It was something I'd definitely say it grounded me and helped me understand that there's a lot that goes to being a professional footballer, and it just kind of reinforced my work ethic, reinforced certain messages I'd always tell myself, and it was very good, very valuable for me, especially at that point in my career, coming through at Arsenal to get the experience.
You then joined Doncaster at a difficult time for the club. Obviously, relegated from League One, but it's been steady progress back to that point since then. How much do you feel you've developed, particularly in the last couple of years under Grant McCann?
Massively. Even if we go back to when I first joined the club in League One, I didn't know what to expect of League One at all. So you're almost coming in and every game's new. You know, you're almost riding the wave, if I'm being honest, and that's how I found it in League One and enjoyed playing. It was a very tough challenge. You know, we spent probably a large part of the year in and around relegation. It was very tough, you know, and unfortunately went down that season. And it's been a gradual build, like you said there. And the past, I think, 2 seasons under Grant were very good, very very good. You know, he came in. It was almost a breath of fresh air for the club and for the players that had been there for a long time to just kind of just forget about that, forget about the past, and kind of a new start. Turn the page and move on and look ahead. And last season we got ourselves into the playoffs, just missed out, and then you can see this season Doncaster as a club were able to get promoted as champions. So
Stepping back into League One now at 25, do you feel more ready for that step up now, not just to compete in League One, but at the top end of it?
100%, I feel as though I've got a better understanding of my game. I've been able to, was at Doncaster for 4 years. You know, I've had, I'd like to believe, good education in terms of EFL football for the past 4 years, and for me now, I have a better understanding of my game and what I can bring to a team, to a squad, to a winning environment. And it's important moving ahead because I know my strengths. I know the areas I need to get better at, but I know what sets me apart from other players and other defenders. And I feel as I am in a fantastic position to kick on. You know, I'm not nowhere near my prime yet, but I do feel as I'm coming into learning more, and getting better as the games go by. If I'm being honest.
And how would you best describe yourself as a defender? You played in a three, you played in a four. How do you see yourself?
First and foremost, I just love to defend. First and foremost, that's what I get. That's what the fans expect me to do. You know, that's what the coach would expect me to do, to defend first and foremost. And I'd like to believe I've got an element of calm, you know, composed on the ball, quick, strong, very quick, shall I say, strong as well. And yeah, I'm always wanting to give everything, and now be scared everything for the county badge. And for the fans that turn up. You know, fans are massive, massive. I'm very big on just soaking in the atmosphere fans can provide, because without fans, then football clubs are almost nothing. And it's important to remain connected with fans as much as possible, and just show them the passion that I have for the game. Try and translate that across as much as possible. And it's always a natural thing. It's never a thing where I go out my way and forcefully try to do it. Just as I am, I'm very passionate about what I do as a professional footballer, and I hope and I trust the fans will see that and it will come across very well.
And just tying into that off the pitch, you also won the League Two Community Player of the Year last season for your voluntary work and the work you do in schools. And County is very much a community club. How important is that side of things to you, and I suppose using your role as a footballer to make a difference?
It's massive to me. It's massive to me. I've said it many times before that as professional footballers, we have a far wider reach than we'd appreciate or take credit for. And I truly believe we have the responsibility to help people and to influence people as much as possible. And the work I did in the community came natural to me. It was second nature. You know, I've grown up in a household where my mum's very big on giving back and trying to help people. So I saw that firsthand. You know, I saw the hard work of my dad as well, and how they both go hand in hand, where you can give back to people a lot, but you also have to put in the work, because you've got to go out of your way. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would want to do it, but you've got to go out of your way and make time for other people. And I think it's very important, very, very important, because if you're in a privileged position and you have the opportunity or the platform to help other people that aren't in the position that you're in, then why not? It's a no-brainer in my eyes to try and help people and just give back to the world, even if it's in a small way, even if it's just in a small community. It goes a long way, and it goes further than you'd think it did.
You're seeing this club obviously come really close to promotion last season, both automatically and then in the playoffs. Coming here now, what is the aim now to go one step better next year for you?
I believe so, 100%. I think the expectations from people outside will be, you can't control that. People are going to talk and they'll have their expectations. They'll say this or they'll be like, well, this is the goal. And you can't control that. You can only control what you do in house. And it's about buying into the winner mentality that's been here since the gaffer came in and since the club have been on this up. It's buying into that winner mentality and coming in and saying, okay, how can I complement and how can I add to what's already here? It's not about coming in and wanting to change anything because there's something great here. I truly believe there is. And for me, the biggest thing is coming into that and hopefully taking the club a step further alongside the boys that are here already and just trying to help as much as possible every single day.
I think as you touched on, you missed the back end of last season with a thigh injury. What's the latest in terms of your recovery there?
Rehab's coming along very well, very, very well. Been running on the treadmill, feeling good, feeling strong. I'm sure still got a few weeks till I'm back to full fitness, but I'm working very hard, very, very hard. The grass is where I love to be and it's where I want to be, where I will keep myself once I'm back fit, God willing. And yeah, that's it. It's coming along well. It's coming along very well.
And just finally, having got this move done very early, you've got 4 or 5 weeks now until pre-season starts. What does that look like for you now?
Rehab. You know, get myself in rehab and just meet other people at the club. You know, I've been able to meet you guys, the part of the media team, and it'll be nice to just meet other people and just familiarize myself with the area and just I'm looking forward to it. You know, I truly believe there's something exciting happening here, and I'm glad to now be a part of this journey and looking forward to great times ahead.
Great to have you here, Josie. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.